Hey guys, what it is yo girl Cadillac. Yes, I am Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before it all fades to black. Yeah, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, I am coming through on December the 27th. It is actually, shoot, it could be the 28th, girl, by now. Nope, we got 10 minutes to the 28th. Coming through in the wee hours of the morning. Yes, I'm up again watching Night and Day Network. This story with Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion. Oh gosh, this trial. Like, it ain't even about Meg no more at this point. It's about Tory Lanez basically, and Tory Lanez representing all of us. I don't know if he's guilty or innocent. Who knows? So I'm not one saying that he is innocent, and I'm not one saying that he is guilty. What I'm saying is basically the shoes that he is in now, honestly, could be you, or yes, you. And unfortunately, I walk in these shoes with my husband every day in life. So it is us, but it could be any of y'all. And I say this like all the time, which is crazy. Like, literally for years, I have been saying the same things. I have been trying to wake people up to the reality of our justice system, and how it is broken. And everyone brushes me off. I even had a whole rap career about it, and people told me, no, y'all, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear about sex. We want to hear about your bag. We want to hear. And I'm like, but it's people losing their lives every day. Like, this is. And I was told, no, that's not happening. That's not real. That's not true. And now all of a sudden, everything I've been saying is coming to light. And I kind of left a little comment on their page saying basically, like, maybe it had to happen to a celebrity before anybody cares, because now there's a lot of people behind it. That's all that really needs to happen, is for the general public to hear the truth. And when they hear the truth, they get outraged. Well, like in a case like me and my husband's case, the public can't hear it because I don't have a name. I don't have a platform. I don't, the algorithm suppresses me and my content because of what I'm talking about. So we have no outlet. We have no way whatsoever to break this story. That's why I get on here and beg y'all all day, every day to help me out, please. But, that's a very slow grinding process. So, possibly, God has his infinite wisdom, and he's at this point using a celebrity, someone that people do care about. He's not using a nobody like Marcello Jackson. He's using somebody like Tory Lanez, who people do really want to see justice for, you know. So, anyways, with that note, I'm gonna get this video out the way that I promised you guys, and then I got a headache, girl. I don't feel too good. Um, Basically, I drove all them hours, 14 hours. I didn't sleep. I got very little sleep, and then I had to jump up this morning and go to work. So I really didn't get no sleep last night either. So I think this is like a lack of sleep. Headache from all that driving to see my husband. But that's the whole point of it. Don't even matter what I went through, I was able to see my husband. And y'all already know that in itself, um, it's a miracle. So God is moving. He is working. He is bringing about justice. Um, it's coming. It's coming. Change is coming. It's that's Marcello's favorite song. Like, change is gonna come. But it's just when you're in it, you feel like change is coming too slowly. But eventually, everything has to change. Eventually, everything will change. But that was another story of injustice. You know, I've been a prison wife for 20 plus years. That's why I call myself the OG prison wife. It's not because I think it's cool. It's not because I think it's cute. Girl, that ain't cute. That ain't cool. This is a club I don't want to be a part of, but unfortunately, I was thrusted into it. But I do wear it with honor because this is my testimony. This is my testimony. This is what me and my family have been through. This prison system, this justice system, injustice system, because there ain't nothing about the justice system says justice at all. But there's even more corruption when you dig deeper into prison. Now, prison, when you get to the subject of prison, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like the trouble, like girl, it's saying like I'm singing one of them old time songs. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about what's happening in these prisons. Number one, I think because we think it doesn't affect us when it actually does, but we're just oblivious to the fact that it does affect us. A good opera. Hold on, I want to read something because for me, I'm an artist. Y'all know that. I'm not only just an artist of painting and drawing. I'm an artist of words. I was a poet, a spoken word poet, and I also was a songwriter, a rapper, which is actually the first way that I tried to break my husband's story through song. But for me, the way my brain works is I always have to liken something to something else, like metaphors to get you to understand what I'm trying to say, or for me to understand something, I have to relate it to something else. So I had a basically like a metaphor that I thought of last night. So let me get that. Girl, sometimes I can't even sleep because I have a thought hit me. And thoughts are like gold. Sometimes you will never have the same idea that you have had before. So I have to quickly jump up. I text it to myself. So basically, now it might not sound all clean and clear because it's the overall gist of what I'm trying to say, but girl, I'll rewrite it with my magnificent words and it'll sound like poetry later. But it's the idea that I love. Okay, cars are necessary and boats are necessary, but you can't use a car as a boat in the water, and you can't use a boat as a car on land. And one might say, but we need this boat. Let's say you put a boat on land and you were trying to say, look, this isn't working. We need to get rid of this boat. And they're like, no, but the boat has purpose. They say we need it here. This is a boat. Do you know what a boat can do? The boat, we need boats. And then you can have the car that's in the ocean. That don't work either. And you could be arguing against somebody, hey, you need to get that car out that ocean. It's gonna sink. It's not working. It's not meant for that. And they'll be like, but it's a car. It's purposeful. We can't get rid of it. But what I'm trying to say is you're not using what you have in the manner that it's supposed to be used. So it's no longer useful because you're misusing it. You can't use a car on water, and you can, except for that vlog when we was driving on the ocean, driving on the lake at Disney. Now Disney made it happen, but other than that, you cannot use a car in the lake, and you can't use a boat on land. So what I'm trying to say is that when I say we need prison reform, people think that I'm telling them to get rid of prisons. That we can't have prison, we got to get rid of the prison, or we got to release everybody, we got to let everybody go. That is not at all what I'm saying, or anybody that's talking about prison reform. What prison reform is saying It is, yes, there is a need for prisons. There has to be consequences for what someone does. There are crimes that are hideous that needs to be followed up by prison time. But the whole purpose in prison is to it is a punishment for what the person did, but it's also to teach a lesson so that the person does not get back out and do the same thing if they do get out, right? So that's its purpose. That's the prison's purpose. Okay, but the prison is not being utilized in that way. The prison is being utilized in the way of the boat on land or the car in the water. The prison is being utilized to basically make money. It's about money. It's more about politics, money, and the illusion of keeping the community safe. They feel like if we lock everyone up, then the community becomes safe. But my question is, why aren't the communities safer? Because over time we've locked up more and 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 more people until even the fact that Florida prisons are to capacity. So all these people we locked up. Oh, why it ain't safe? Is the purpose being met? That is because it's not being utilized in the way that it was meant. So it becomes purposeless, like that car in water, right? It just sinks. Girl, I love it. I love it. I love it. Marcello was also telling me I need to start illustrating these things. I keep telling him that I don't have time to draw. I wish I had more time. I wish I had the necessary time to devote to my artwork, girl, but unfortunately, I'm on a 9 to 5 slave ship that leaves me very little time for every and anything else. And besides the little 9 to 5 slave ship, the rest of my time is split between fighting my husband's wrongful conviction, which takes a lot out of a person, and then also my family. My family comes before everything. Family over everything. Yes. But not God. Y'all already know that. God is first. That goes without saying, but I know you'll try to say that, right? So the prison system is broken as well. The prisons are run by people, and people are not perfect. And it's not just the regular human error of people. This is run by people that feel like, yay, I can punish people and people have to listen to me. And let me tell you a little quick story. Do y'all remember the patrols back in elementary school? Or some people say elementary. Is it elementary or elementary? Anyways, do you remember the patrols? They used to make you walk. They wore like a belt that went across their chest and then it went around their waist. And they would basically keep everyone safe, right? They would make people walk. They wouldn't let them run the halls and stuff like that. So I was always a good kid. I was never really doing nothing. I was more so an artist, quiet to myself, wanted to cut up some paper or draw something, wasn't in no type of trouble whatsoever. So the teacher thought that I would be a good fit to be a patrol. So we had to go through interviews and they asked me, why would I want to be a patrol? Now remember, I was just a little kid. But though this is so juvenile, this is really what happens in our prison systems. Um, so they asked me, why do I want to be a patrol? And my answer was, I want to be a patrol because whatever I say, people have to do. If I tell you to go back and walk, you have to go back and walk. If I tell you that you can't do this, then you can't do this. And they said, "Oh, thank you, Miss Dixon. Thank you. Thank you for your time." They took my little interview, and then I did not get the patrol position. And I didn't know why. Girl, that's the same mindset that they take on in these prisons, really. They don't take on the mindset that, hey, I'm not really here to punish these people. I am here to do a job. Yes, structure and punishment do come hand in hand with the job that I am performing, but it is not my right to basically like take the human rights of this person away. This person has already been charged, convicted. They're already serving their time. Anybody doing time, baby, that's not a piece of ice cream cake. That is hard time, honestly. I'm telling you, especially in these prisons here in America. Girl, Florida prisons don't even have heat. Marcello talking about it feel like he's sleeping outdoors right now during this freeze. Like they can't close the windows. It does not have air conditioner. You know Florida is hot. And if you would want to see that hot box challenge where we actually ask these lawmakers that feel like air conditioner is a luxury to spend 5 minutes in the sweltering heat in a simulated DOC cell. Half of them couldn't do it. They couldn't even understand how hot it was. They didn't even know that Florida prisons didn't have heat or air. They didn't know that. They didn't care either. Yeah, it's very inhumane. That heat, people die from that heat. That it is no circulation. Y'all worrying about these little colds and other stuff going around. That's the perfect breeding ground for that stuff. And they can't distance themselves from one another. They all pile right up on top of each other because Florida prisons are to critical capacity. So that's really what we are dealing with. Power hungry people who feel better most part. I've been a prison wife for 20 years, right? So I of course have met a lot of great COs, people that was just there actually just doing their job. They wasn't there trying to oppress, to mistreat, to mishandle anybody. But unfortunately, they are outweighed by those that are. They find joy in suppressing somebody else. So this day, now, when there is a system of, the COs do something wrong, the way you're supposed to address it is by writing a grievance. So my husband writes a grievance because he does not agree with the actions of a CO. What ends up happening next is the CO takes revenge on my husband by not getting at him, but actually trying to get at me when I come to visit. This is post the shutdown of 2020. I hadn't seen my husband that whole time during 2020 when y'all were seeing y'all loved ones. We couldn't see ours. We didn't even hear from them. We didn't know if they were alive and breathing or if they were gone. We didn't know. And I know the judgment in you wants to say, well, he shouldn't have did what he did, right? Because that's what I always get. But we didn't know if he was okay. So we get off the tail end of that. They open visits back up. I go up there. Now, the second to the last time I see my husband, I go up there. And as soon as I'm almost there, that long A ride, they said, go back home. The unit is on quarantine. Like, are you freaking kidding me? You are, you gotta be kidding me. But no, that was true. That was real. I thought that was the worst, to drive way there and not see him. No, baby, it got worse. The very next time, my husband, they had got the basically like how they were going to handle the grievance. They rejected it and then they gave him the paper back. But the officer was so annoyed that Marcello wrote a grievance on him that, they have each other's back. They do. So they told him that, hey, this inmate wrote this grievance on you, and they intercepted it. He intercepted it. Now, grievance is supposed to go in a lockbox, and you're not supposed to see it. That's just like, let's say, like the boss. I wrote something that the boss did wrong. Now, if the person that's HR that's supposed to handle that went straight to the boss and said, Keita said you did this. What does that cause? And then left it in your hands to handle it. That causes you to want to take revenge. So if the boss goes and fires me, that's the same scenario here. He was mad because Marcello wrote the grievance and he took it out on Marcello. Not really necessarily on Marcello, but he knew the way to hurt Marcello was through me. Because I have been the only one. Me and his daughter have been visiting him for over 21 years. Marcello has family, but his family forgot about him the minute they sent him up that road. It has been me and Marcello. I mean, me and our daughter Money, seeing him faithfully over all this time, sending him money, writing him letters, giving him emails, fighting for him, talking to lawyers, calling organizations. Baby, I bared this cross alone. This ish would have been so much easier with a family, but I did this alone. Alone. God, do you know how much work this is? Tory Lane's daddy calling on the nation. Baby, Keita did this alone. And still, he most likely is light years ahead of me on his fight for justice for Tory Lanez than I am on my fight for justice for Marcello Jackson. And I've been covering 20 years of ground. But anyways, when I went to visitation, they rushed me in the door. 5 minutes later, they called me out. I gave him one hug, sat down. I was telling him about this organization that could possibly help him. Let's get our hopes up again, just so they can be dashed as usual. But hope is the only thing that will get you through this. And 5 minutes later, they're like, license plate number, blah, 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 blah. Come here. I literally thought I parked in the wrong parking spot. They said, oh, no, the dogs hit on your car. Dog? What dogs? Girl, I've been a prison wife for 20 plus years. I have been around those dogs. I have seen those dogs. I have been strip searched. I know how procedures, I know how things are supposed to go. And it wasn't going the way it was supposed to go. So anyways, I was going to listen to it with you, but maybe we'll review that tomorrow because I do got a headache, girl. But our visits were, in the end, terminated. I'll put that in the description box. Our visits were terminated. And before I left, actually, they were trying to take me to jail. And I literally thought that they were trying to set me up. I love him, but my freedom, well, my portion of freedom, because we're not truly free, but my portion of freedom is not worth. Dang. So I had to refuse that unlawful search. And as a result, they terminated our visits. And the same guard that Marcello wrote the grievance on gets his last words, his last sucker punch. He said, I don't know if you're here to see your father or your husband, because we're the only two that come see him, but your visits are terminated indefinitely. And that's all over the state of Florida. And he's smiling. as I walk off crying. I never thought I would see my husband again. For the last 19 months, I have only talked to him on the phone. I have not laid physical eyes on him. And yesterday, I went to see him. That judgment was overturned. It was overturned. Girl, do you know I had gave up that fight? And Marcello, he was like, Kita, it's like I don't know who you are anymore. The Kita I know would have never given up. And I'm like, Marcello, but the Kita you know is tired. I have been fighting. I feel like I have been fighting a pointless battle. Not pointless because of the purpose of the battle, pointless because I'm not making any ground. Nothing is changing. He still has the only thing that's bringing him closer to freedom is so much time is passing. Time is passing like someone cut on a faucet. So that's the only way his freedom is coming. It is not coming by way of alleviation from this wrongful conviction. And the visits, we took that all the way up to the Capitol and they sided with them. Like, I'm telling you, it goes all the way up. They just side with each other. It's like an alliance type thing. It is not right or wrong at all. And being in a system like that, you feel like you're already geared to fail. So I made peace with it. I really did. And y'all could be my witness because that's what I said on this channel. I made peace with it that I may never see my husband again unless I live, unless we live 17 more years and I see the day that he comes out the prison gates. Other than that, I would probably never see him again. And I knew that and I had faced and accepted that fact. But let me tell you, Marcello said he couldn't accept that fact. He said, who? Who? I'm finna fight. He said, if I got to take this to this person and that person and that, and I was so discouraged because I'm like, Marcello, our fight is going nowhere. We're nowhere closer, Marcello. But yet did I know we were right at the door. Marcello kept pursuing it, and our visits were restored. That's crazy. So I'm thinking, just as this fight in his freedom, I'm basically in my heart giving up. I know the world is too cold. I know I don't have a soul backing me. I have a few people, but it's just not enough to move this mountain. This is a huge, humongous mountain that I can't move, and maybe 10 people supporting me can't move. We need a lot of voices. We need a lot of movement behind us. But yet I can't even get that spark to take hold. So how he gonna get his freedom? But what if? And crazy thing, as I was driving up there, the thought that flowed through my head was, Kita, what if the next time you drove this far, it was to pick him up? Dang, I'm torn. I truly want to give up this fight that I'm losing, this fight that I've been knocked out round after round after round. But I can't. I literally cannot. All right, guys, I'm finna go on to bed. It's your girl Cadillac.